The opinions and views expressed in the following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look at my soul. I've been afraid I would follow alone. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
Welcome into a Thursday edition of Running Point on ysnlive.com. Ron Potesta with you. Beautiful, beautiful Thursday in the Mahoning Valley in this crisp fall. But it feels more like late summer, which is fine by me. 330-886-0813, the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline, open for business. We are packed to the gills in terms of coaches for this Thursday edition of Running Point. All of the coaches in our area that are going to be participating in round 3 of the OHSAA playoffs will be on this here program today. Dom Prologo from Warren JFK. He'll be stopping by via the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. We'll give him a jingle at about 12:20. Paul Julia, head football coach of the Leetonia Bears, will call in at 1 o'clock. At 1:30, TJ Parker from the Austintown Fitch Falcons will be previewing their game against Warren Harding at 1:30. And speaking of Harding, Steve Arnold will be calling in at 2 o'clock, and we'll get their perspective in this Dynamite Showdown rematch between Harding and Fitch. Should be a great game Friday night at Falcon Stadium. At 2:15, Mike Pavlansky will chime in, and we'll get Pav's take on his team and the opportunity to exercise Demons Part 2, the sequel, as Coach Pavlansky and the boys will be taking on a team that is, well, they've been ugly to our area for sure on a 7-game postseason winning streak. Akron St. Vincent St. Mary coming to town, and we'll check in with Coach Pavlansky at 2:15. Finally, we close out the program at 2:45, and again, it's so tough for some of these teachers if they don't have a break to get them on the show between noon and 3. Fortunately, we were able to get Dan Williams, so we'll get him on at 2:45, and we'll condense about a 10-minute interview with Coach Williams as McDonald gets ready for their third-round matchup down in Leetonia. It should be a great time. And, you know, the good news with all of that, the local matchups, Leetonia and McDonald, Fitch and Harding, whoever wins the game, we're guaranteed someone from the Mahoning Valley to go into the regional semifinals. Now, from a YSN standpoint, Harding is not part of the YSN family, so Fitch and Harding, it's you selfishly, you know who we're hoping that wins this ball game. Selfishly, because again, you want to have as many teams in the YSN family moving on into the tournament. But again, this it should be an awful lot of fun, and all 6 of the coaches from our area that are going to be coaching are going to be heard today on this program. You're welcome. All right, 330-886-0813, the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline is open for business. Can I just say this right now, and we'll be done with this because it needs to be said. I don't know what the hell that was last night with a Johnny Allstaff in Game 2 of a World Series, but that needs to go away like yesterday. This is just another example of the game that can be unwatchable at times. Look, it was an exciting game. Don't get me wrong. The Rays were able to take care of business. They've evened the series one game apiece. But this is tough to watch, especially if you're someone who is a fan of watching a starting pitcher go 5 or 6 innings, turn it over to the bullpen, and let's go. They had a starting pitcher, and they have a starting pitcher, they being the Dodgers, and frankly, they didn't allow him to pitch. They didn't allow him to pitch until into, the 4th inning with 2 outs. It just doesn't make any sense. If the guy is a starting pitcher, either bring him into the ball game in a clean inning where he's starting out the inning and there's nobody on base. Either bring him into the ball game in a clean inning or preferably start the guy. Why May wasn't starting this game and going as long as he could is beyond me, and frankly, this is one of the biggest reasons why Major League Baseball has become an unwatchable sport in a lot of ways. It's this is part of this whole brand new fangled the folks that think they are smarter than the game and they're not, and we're talking about the analytics knuckleheads. Oh yeah, we're gonna have Johnny Allstat because we got a better chance at winning the game. Really, how'd that go for you? And this shouldn't be a surprise to Dodger fans because, well, your general manager used to be the general manager of the Tampa Bay Rays. And remind me again how many World Series titles Andrew Friedman won in Tampa. 0. Oh, well, Moneyball. And let me tell you, Moneyball. Moneyball was Mulder, Zito, and Hudson. All in their prime, all pitching great. That's Moneyball, kids. You don't have success without those 3 guys pitching their ass off. It's just you want to screw up the World Series. Hey, you guys go right ahead and do that. But we're going to go Johnny Allstaff in game number 2. Yeah. That's how we're going to do this. Okay, so let's fast forward here a little bit because, we have today off, which is probably good because, there's Thursday night football and there's a presidential debates and, it's probably going to get buried with a bunch of other stuff. So you got a day off. Buehler's going to pitch on his normal rest. You got to believe that you'll probably go with a guy on normal rest in game number 4, and then you've got Kershaw that will be pitching in game number 5, and he'll be pitching on normal rest because he pitched in game number 1. So then we'll go to game number 6. If there is a game number 6, let's say that Tampa Bay has a 3-2 series lead on the Dodgers, and we go to game number 6, and on 5 days rest, all right, 22, 23, 24, 25, actually 6 days rest. On 6 days rest, no, it would be 5 days rest, not 4 days. On 5 days rest, are they going to go back to May or are they going to go Johnny Allstaff again? Just, wow. I shake my head and I just wonder at the craziness that this game has suddenly become. May wasn't good enough. Shirley was good enough in the regular season to be a pretty good starter, but now he's not good enough. And we gotta go Johnny Allstaff. Oh, okay, all right. That's and the stupidity continues. Oh, by the way, no word on the contraction of minor league baseball. Now this will pertain locally. This does pertain locally. The New York Penn League has been knocking on the door of Rob Manfred, the commissioner, and they're trying to figure out. And I'll give you this: minor league teams are all trying to figure out, hey, what are we doing? We have some things to do this off season. Our people have billboards to sell out in the outfield. They have other stuff to sell. We got season ticket holders that we need to reconnect with because we were gone for the entire year. Well, what the hell's going on here? The New York Penn League in particular, because, well, we don't know if the New York Penn League is going to survive or if they're one of the or part of the 42 teams that Manfred's planning on telling adios. You're going to be part of a college wood bat league or whatever the hell plan they have. Nobody's talking, nobody's saying anything, and nobody's going to say anything until after the World Series, which, okay, I kind of sort of can understand because it's the World Series and you want all the attention in baseball to be put on the World Series. You probably should have said something before the World Series. You probably should have said something early on in the postseason. The later this goes, the more backed up all of the minor league offices are going to be, including the Mahoning Valley Scrappers. I mean, and that's assuming if we have a 2021 season. Again, the last report, the New York Penn League was part of that 42-team conglomerate that we're all going to get cutouts, and we were going to have low A, high A, double A, triple A, and then into the major leagues, which is absurd in and of itself, but whatever. I mean, Manfred's running the game, and he's absurd, so it doesn't – I mean, it kind of fits. So now, you know, the New York Penn League's trying to figure out what's going on. I mean, what do we tell our front office? What do we tell our fans? What do we tell our season ticket holders? What do we tell our sponsors? And they're not getting any answers, nor are they going to get any answers until the end of the World Series. I would love to be a fly on the wall in the winter meetings this year. I just and the winter meetings, for those that are unaware, the major leagues and the minor leagues all get together, and they have their own business that's done. Contentious is a very light way to describe the feeling between Major League Baseball and minor league baseball right now. And again, we bring this up because, well, we have some skin in the game locally with the Mahoning Valley Scrappers. We certainly do. And the truth is, we don't know what's going on with minor league baseball. We have no idea if we're going to have minor league baseball in the Mahoning Valley in 2021. If they don't, well, hopefully wooden bat, college wooden bat league, maybe an independent league team. Honestly, nobody knows. And nobody's going to know until after the World Series. And I'll repeat what I said a couple of moments ago. Would have been nice if someone would have just said, okay, here is our plan, and you said it before the start of the World Series. I mean, don't get me wrong. I understand why nobody's saying anything now because, well, you want all the attention on the World Series. You want the World Series to be on the big stage with no interruptions from anyone outside of baseball, and I get that. It would have been nice to have had someone say, this is our plan, this is how we're going to go about doing this prior to the World Series, because, as I've said, there are minor league baseball teams right now that, well, they haven't played baseball in 18 months. Haven't had a Major League Baseball game played in close to 18 months. Actually, that would be inaccurate. More like 13 months. My mistake. We haven't had a minor league baseball game played in 13 months for some folks. Most folks. These people, they have a lot of things to do. They got a lot of stuff to sell. They got a lot of stuff to accomplish, and this is all the stuff that they're supposed to accomplish prior to the winter meetings, and then after the winter meetings, they get some of the lessons that they learned through seminars and whatnot, and then they start going into in-game mode for the next 3 months while still trying to work on the final touches of sales that they didn't get prior to the winter meetings. we're now in late October. The winter meetings are about a month and change away, 6 weeks away. And nobody knows what's going on because, well, Major League Baseball hasn't given anyone a direction yet. So imagine if you're the folks over at the Mahoning Valley Scrappers office. Do we even have a season in 2021? What are we telling our sponsors? What are we telling our season ticket holders? What are we telling our fans that want to partake in game plans? It's crazy. It's absolutely absurd. All right, 330-886-0813. Dom Prologo, the head football coach of the Warren JFK Eagles, will be kicking off the cavalcade of high school football coaches here on a Thursday edition of Running Point. We'll hear from the head football coach of the Warren JFK Eagles in about 5 minutes. At 1 o'clock, Paul Julia from Leetonia will be chiming in on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning hotline. Leetonia playing McDonald in a D7 quarterfinal game. By the way, Warren JFK will be taking on Norwalk St. Paul in a D7 quarterfinal game. At 1:30, we will hear from the head football coach of the Austintown Fitch Falcons, TJ Parker, and TJ will be talking about his rematch of a regular season game with Warren Harding. And speaking of Harding, Steve Arnold will be chiming in on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning hotline at 2 o'clock, and we'll get their take on what's going on up in Warren as Fitch and Harding will be prepared for a D2 quarterfinal game. 2:15, Mike Pavlansky from Canfield will call in. They got a date with Akron St. Vincent St. Mary. And finally, at 2:45, Dan Williams from McDonald. McDonald and Leetonia, this should be a great game down in Beartown Friday nights. Dan Williams will be talking McDonald Blue Devils at 2:45. All right, it is a Thursday edition of Running Point coming up in just a bit. We will hear from the head football coach of arguably the best team in Division 7, Region 25. They're the number 1 seed. Dom Prologo from Warren JFK is coming up after this timeout. It's a Thursday edition of Running Point on ysnlive.com. Stick around, more to come.
21 News.
Let's get right to our top story tonight.
More experienced reporters
A new Wilmington arrest.
GM Lordstown.
telling more local stories
We'll look at
Baby
efforts
boy
to
is
curb
recovering from a broken.
around our
Good
valley
afternoon. We are here in Youngstown, right up.
because you expect
It's important for everyone.
No place like home.
more local news.
In Mercer County Court.
21 News is our valley's number 1 local news.
Welcome home to a home made homier with Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods. Inspiration starts at BairdBrothers.com and is turned into reality when high-quality hardwoods are delivered right to your home. Baird Brothers has the latest design trends, shiplap and skinny lap interior siding, antique oak rustic flooring, and, well, you'll find them all at BairdBrothers.com. Ordered easily, delivered conveniently, enjoyed comfortably. BairdBrothers.com.
Attention football fans, order Coca's Pizza tailgate package for only $54.99. You'll receive 24 slices of our delicious cheese pizza, 20 jumbo wings, and 2 of our famous foot-long pepperoni rolls. Coca's Pizza, we serve it hot.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsuranceSolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
Your Armstrong services are more important than ever. There are more and more connected devices in the home these days. To get the most out of your experience, you need a network that is always getting better. You deserve superior performance, and that's what Armstrong offers every day. Whether you're working from home, enjoying your favorite content together, or simply catching up while apart, count on Armstrong to keep you connected to what matters most.
For heating, cooling, and indoor air quality, the Mahoning Valley
trust MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning, offering worry-free repair, service, and installation. Call MP Vivo today for a free estimate.
MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. We're your energy-efficient experts.
Welcome back to a Thursday edition of Running Points on ysnlive.com. Ron Potesta with you. The Warren JFK Eagles are the top seed in Division 7, Region 25, and they go into the quarterfinals as the team to beat in this region, hence they're the number one seed. In the Sweet 16 matchup against Lowellville, they survived everything that Lowellville threw at them, including the kitchen sink, in a very high-scoring game. And to talk about that game and to preview the game against Norwalk St. Paul, we bring in the head football coach of the Warren JFK Eagles, Dom Prologo. Coach, how are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good. How surprised were you that Lowellville was throwing everything they possibly could at you in the first half in what turned out to be a really high-scoring game?
You know, we weren't really that surprised at what they did. I guess we were a little bit more surprised at how well they did it. You know, we were, that's what we prepared for. But their quarterback is really, really good. Their receivers played really, really well. And, you know, didn't give us a chance to get pressure on their quarterback because the ball was out so quick. And so, yeah, we weren't overly shocked by what they did. It's just how well they did it. It was a little disappointing that, you know, we came out the first half and maybe didn't play our best. But I certainly don't want to take anything away from Lowellville. They earned their, you know, the 26 first half points they scored.
Well, obviously, in the second half, you guys made some adjustments, and Lowellville was only able to get 7 points in the second half, and you guys started keeping up in what looked like a track meet in the first half. You guys were in the 100-meter dash mentality in the second half, where Lowellville, thanks to some adjustments by you guys, was stopped pretty much cold in the second half, only getting a touchdown, and that resulted in a very impressive 32-point victory for the Eagles.
Yeah, you know, we did. We made some adjustments to what they were doing and to take away what they wanted to do, and, you know, that kind of changed the outcome of the game. And then offensively, you know, we were in fifth gear from the time we got off the bus till we got back on the bus. So that was good. But, you know, defensively, like I said, we kind of walked into the game a little bit, little slow, and it took us a while to get going. But Lowellville did a great job. And their, like I said, their quarterback, being only a sophomore, got some young targets that he throws to. I was, you know, for Lowellville, they should be real excited about that.
Warren JFK head football coach Dom Prologo joining me on a Thursday edition of Running Point on ysnlive.com. How surprised were you? And this game was played on a Saturday night at Norwalk because of scheduling conflict. How surprised were you to see St. Paul beat the Southern the way they did, only giving up 14 points en route to a 34-point victory over the Indians?
You know, the score was, the score was a little bit surprising. I did drive up there and actually got to see that game live, so I guess that was the neat thing about them playing on a Saturday was I was able to actually see the game, which this year that's not easy to do, you know, with all the restrictions and everything that they have. But during the playoffs, we're allowed to, if you can, which we were able to because their game got moved to Saturday, you're allowed to go bring two coaches are allowed to go scout your opponent. So I would be surprised if St. Paul came down and saw us on Friday. I don't know that to be a fact, but I did drive up there Saturday and watch them play. You know, we played them before in 2016, and you know, they're a real physical group, and Coach Livengood does a great job with that. He does what he does, and he does it every single year, and they're physical on both sides of the ball. The offensive style they play is physical, and sitting in the stands watching the game, you know, that bus ride that Southern had to take, you know, I've done that a couple of times with Canfield where we had to drive all the way down to Columbus, and that's not easy for the kids to handle. You know, we've we never had a whole lot of success driving from Canfield during the playoffs down to Columbus and playing. So again, that I think watching Southern come out for the game, I was not shocked to see that they were kind of slow walking through the whole beginning of pregame and everything else, and then the game just kind of snowballed on them. And I don't think that they were prepared for the physicality that they saw, and they never recovered from that. You know, at halftime the game was out of hand, and they never kind of recovered from that. So, but you know, not taking anything away from St. Paul. St. Paul went into the game with a game plan, and that was to be physical, and they did. They were very physical with Southern, and I'm not sure Southern has seen that type of physicality all year with the schedule they played. But you know, like I said, we played against them. They looked like a mirror image of the team we played back in 16, and they haven't changed anything. I mean, the funny thing is I took out my scouting report from my file of 16, and it's almost identical to the one I put together for this week. You know, the only thing we had to change were the numbers on the jerseys. Other than that, they do the same thing. So, you know, that game, the score was surprising, but being there and watching it, you know, I saw it all, happening in front of me, and I wasn't surprised as the game went on, the way things were going.
Coach, the fact that you saw that game, you don't necessarily have to get film of that game if you aren't wanting to request it, because you were obviously there to see the game. On film, did they look exactly the same as they did against Southern Local, or were there any wrinkles?
No, it was the same stuff. You know, they're a team that is going to run the ball out of power sets, and then, you know, your safeties, your DBs got to get involved in that run game, and then boom, the next thing you know, their eyes aren't disciplined, and then they hit you with the play action pass, and that really in the first half was a real problem for Southern. So no, they've done this. They've run the same offense. They didn't do anything that was considered a trick play that they hadn't already done before on film. And you know, we have a few of their films from the season, so no, I don't think that they did any trick plays. They just do what they do, and you know, that's the biggest concern with them. You know, we were fortunate to play a team in Garrettsville Garfield early in the year who ran a similar offense. And you know, it's a power offense. They try to run the ball down your throat, and you know, your secondary has to get involved tackling people, and then bam, the next thing you know, Garrettsville hit us on 2 pass plays that day, and you know, that ended up being the difference in the game. So similar situation. You know, we knew those pass plays were coming. It's just your kids don't have that eye discipline because they've got to be so involved in the run game.
You get lulled to sleep pretty quickly when they continue to run play after play after play. You're doing the run, and then you're just going to assume everyone's going to run. You'll put 9 guys in the box, and all of a sudden there's the fake handoff, and now you're caught with your pants down.
No doubt, and that's what happened against Garrettsville. And you know, that's the biggest challenge. I'll be honest with you. You know, I expect our kids to rise up and actually play even more physical than St. Paul does. You know, that's going to be a big part in the game. We've said that since I walked in the door at Kennedy in 14 with Coach Bayek. My line to our kids is the most physical team always wins. So I expect our kids to show up and be the most physical team Friday night. But and you know what? I'm not so sure we weren't the most physical team against Garrettsville that night. But I will tell you, again, we didn't have great eye discipline. They got us on a couple of plays, and that's going to be the biggest challenge for us this Friday night is making sure that guys like, you know, our safeties like Cam Hollabaugh and you know, Jesse Likens, they're involved in that run game because they're going to need to be, but they've got good enough eye discipline that when it's a play action pass, they're going to be able to cover the guys they're supposed to.
Well, Coach, this question needs to be asked then. It's one thing to be physical, but not have the bodies up front to really be physical. I mean, you can be physical with guys weighing 195, 200 pounds across the line, but there's a difference between that kind of physicality and physicality with guys that are 255, 265, and up across the line. Is this team as big and as physical as, say, Garrettsville, Garfield, or are they a smaller brand of physical?
Smaller brand of physical. Smaller brand of physical. Yeah, they're not gonna pose that. Garrettsville was a lot bigger than we were across the board. This St. Paul is not. Man on man, we may actually be. This may be a week, maybe one of the first all year because of our schedule, where our size may be just a little bit bigger than them. I'm not saying a whole lot, but 5 pounds a man or maybe an inch here or there. We may be a little bigger than them, but so it is. It's a smaller group of kids, but they play just as with just as much tenacity as the kids from Garrettsville did.
Well, and that brings up an interesting point because, look, I mean, play action is wonderful, but you have to establish the run in order for people to buy into a play action. So stopping the run is first and foremost. I'm curious, are you guys going to automatically put a chess piece out there and say, we're going to go 9 in the box? Now, why don't you try to throw the ball on us before you do your play action pass and force the issue?
Yeah, we're going to do what we do. I've always felt that way. I've been doing this a long, long time, and whether I was doing it at Canfield, Hubbard, or JFK, we do what we do. We worry about us and taking care of our business. So we're going to run our defense. Certainly we may roll a safety down here or there to add an extra body on certain rundowns, but we're going to do what we do. And again, going back to what you said, if they're good enough to establish the run, then that play action is going to become loom as a bigger part. Where Garrettsville was able to establish the run a little bit, I think they had 119 yards rushing against us. So that's why that play action became such a big deal. Friday, look, when you play JFK, the first thing you can guarantee is our game plan is to take away your run game. And if you and force you to do something you don't want to do. And going back to your first question about Louisville, Louisville, they came into the game and didn't even really attempt to run the ball against us. They just did what they wanted to do, and that was they're a passing team, and that's why they had some success in the first half. But a team like this, we're going to force you to we're hopeful that we can force you to do something you don't want to, and that's throw the ball.
No, and here's the thing: when we start talking about JFK defensively, wait a second, we got to start talking about JFK offensively because hey, this just in: 65 points against Louisville. You guys can play offense, so that's something Norwalk St. Paul's going to have to worry about. It. I mean, okay, sure, you got to score some points, but good Lord, that defense had better play a ridiculously good game. Otherwise, we got problems here.
Yeah, we again certainly JFK. We've always hung our hat on our defensive side, but it's awfully nice when we're putting up the type of points that we are. It takes a little bit of the pressure off you, that there's been times around here that we've had to hold people to 10 points and under to get done what we wanted to get done. And right now, again, we've got a great offensive coaching staff. Don Menendez being our offensive coordinator, been around for a long, long time. And, John Elliott, basically calling the plays with him. That they give a great contrast where John is that guy that wants to spread you out and whip it around, and Dom's the guy that wants to get in the stacked eyes, back to his Howland days and run the ball down your throat. So they do a great job, and we've got some weapons over there. Tam Hollabaugh is as good a player as D7's going to see. The funny thing about Cam is. Dom Menendez last year coached at Warren Harding. and John was at Fitch, John Elliott, and both of those guys said, here's a kid that could start at both of those programs, which are both D2, and he's playing D7. And I coached at Canfield for a lot of years, and Cam Hollaball would have started on pretty much every team we had there. So we're fortunate to have a talent like that playing for us. And then, you add in a guy like Jesse Likens, who just is a burner, does a really good job with the ball in his hands. That speed he has, that's uncommon for D7. You don't ever see that. So we've got some weapons on the offensive side. Our offensive line has really come together and done a great job, played real physical all year. So, when you defend us, there's times you're defending, 11 guys in a phone booth, and when Dom gets in his back eye, and then there's times where, we've got 4 skill guys on the outside that you've got to defend all 4 of them because all 4 of them have been in the end zone this year.
Coach, before we let you go, I'm really curious to get your opinion on this. You guys at the beginning of the postseason, you had everyone seated via a vote. And as it turns out, we go into the quarterfinals, which is, since 1999, this is the start of the playoff season. I'm looking at the top 8 teams that, we were supposed to have the top 8 teams. It's pretty much gone chalk. One's going to play 8, JFK and Norwalk St. Paul. 4 is going to play 5, Dalton's going to play Malvern. Lucas, the 2 seed, is going to play number 10, Independence, who upset Monroeville last week, 28-20. And the 3 seed, Leetonia, is going to play the 6 seed, McDonald. Kudos to the coaching staff, all of the coaches in D7 Region 25. I mean, you guys should all be nicknamed Nostradamus for what you did, because this is about as good as you get in terms of having the top 8 get to the quarterfinals. 7 out of 8. That's a fantastic number.
Yeah, it is. The coaches did a great job of seeding everybody, and everybody, I think, I want to say majority of coaches in our region probably went online like I did and looked at Joe Eitel's site and just said, for 30 years, we've basically been using this system to seed our teams. Why would it be any different just because of COVID? So what I think you saw was most coaches basically just said, we're going to seed this thing just like the Joe Eitel website had it, and by the point system. And obviously what this is proving, and what you just said proves it, that the system that Ohio has set up with playoffs is right. That's the way it's supposed to be, because you get your, even if we expanded the playoffs, you're still getting your best team still playing. And so again, going back to the way Ohio does it, obviously we do it the right way with our computer point system.
The only thing that I would probably wonder about, and obviously you have to have, in a perfect world, all regions would have the same amount of teams, and they do that for a reason. But man, you had some teams that were over in the western central part of the state that were part of Region 25, and that is kind of strange to see a school over near Bucyrus being part of all of this. And Norwalk St. Paul, I mean, they got a distance travel in the they didn't have to travel, but Southern had to travel over to Norwalk. Norwalk is kind of on the outskirts of Region 25. So it's, from that perspective, I kind of shake my head, but by and large, I mean, they got this right. There's no two ways about it.
No doubt. Yeah, it took me 2 hours and 20 minutes to get from my house in Canfield out to Norwalk Saturday night. So that was a pretty decent trip. I think they're probably going to have about a 2-hour bus ride to get to Mollenkoff Friday night. And Southern, if I took 220 to get from Canfield, Southern probably had pretty darn near a 3-hour ride to get out there. But, Norwalk was in our region back in 2016. Our state championship year, and we played them for the regional finals that year. So now the last couple of years, they have not been in our region. But, you know, again, this year they're back in it again. And you know, we, like I said, that is out there. I mean, our region is absolutely huge geographically.
Should be an awful lot of fun Friday night at Mollenkopf, and it's good to have you guys back at Mollenkopf. I know Liberty was a fantastic host for your Sweet 16 matchup against Lowellville, but always good to be back home at Mollenkopf playing games in that iconic stadium up in Warren.
There's no doubt. You know, it's nice. It's going to be great to get back home again and play. That's the one thing about the schedule we played. It allowed us to earn that number 1 seed, which means we get to stay home all the way through the regional finals now. You know, originally they had said maybe just through the regional semis. We got an email this week that said that, you know, the top seeded team in the regional finals has the choice if they want to play home or if they want to move the game somewhere else. So if we're fortunate enough to continue this run and get to the regional finals, we'll be home at Mollenkopf all the way through that game. You know, and I'd imagine that the only time you're going to see a team that would be willing to maybe give that up, that home field advantage, is and play somewhere neutral, you know, as if they have a grass field, it's really tore up, or their stadium only holds 2,000 people and they want to get to a bigger venue to be able to allow, with the COVID rules, allow more of their family and friends to come see them play. You know,
I was going to ask who in the heck would, in their right mind, would do that. But, you know, you bring up 2 excellent points. I mean, I know my alma mater, they have a grass field and it's a small stadium. Yeah, if they were the higher seed left, I'm sure that they wouldn't want to play their game in Leetonia. They'd want to play their game in a bigger stadium to allow more fans to come. So that's a fantastic point, Coach.
Yep. You know, that's probably the only way you're going to see a team who has that ability to do that change. But you know, and that was exciting that we found that out. You know, but certainly we got to go take care of business on the field. You know, we've got. You go back to the seeding. I'm going to be honest with you. Norwalk St. Paul, I think probably was seeded a little bit low in this seeding. They're a really good football team. Their running back is going to be all we can handle. He runs, you know, their physical style up front, and then they have a running back that's a punisher. You know, they lost their quarterback for a couple of weeks, and last week I showed up at Southern, and you know, he was back last week, and I don't, you know, talking to some people that were at the game, they were, even the people from Norwalk St. Paul weren't sure that he was going to play last week. And I know, I can guarantee you, Southern had prepared for the offense that Norwalk had run the 2 weeks prior to that game, you know, against Monroeville and which was a Wildcat style offense. And they really didn't throw the ball at all in those games. It was just they put their one of their better running backs at quarterback and said, okay, we're going to run the Wildcat. And then Southern shows up and boom, here comes number 11, their starting quarterback. He's back. And, you know, he, like I said, he threw 4 touchdowns in the first half on play action passes, which I guarantee you Southern wasn't thinking were coming because they didn't practice for it all week, in my opinion.
It should be a great game, and best of luck to you. And I guess the most important thing in all of this, outside of the game, keep everyone healthy. Clearly, COVID is on the rise in the state of Ohio, and we've already seen one game that has been postponed in the OHSAA playoffs, and certainly we hope that we don't see any more games postponed from here on out, because that's a tough pill to swallow if you tell your kids, hey, by the way, we can't play this game because our school has a COVID issue, and unfortunately because of that we're eliminated from the playoffs. I mean, that's going to be a very, very tough pill to swallow for anyone now that we're into the quarterfinals of the region.
There's no doubt. I didn't even know there was another school. I know the last couple of weeks we've had a few of them. I didn't know we already had one again this week.
Well, fortunately, it's not in Region 25. But as of yesterday, there was one game that was already postponed because of a COVID-related issue. And hopefully, like I said, fingers crossed, there are no more games postponed from here on out, because that's just, as I said, that's a tough pill to swallow.
that's the way we end practice every day, Ron, is I tell our kids, wash your hands as often as you possibly can, to the point where you got to put lotion on them because they're so dry. You got to keep yourself away from people. You got to socially distance, and you got to not go to all those functions that maybe everyone else is. You guys have worked really hard for this, and we don't want to have a COVID situation take it away. So I address that. Our staff addresses that every day. At the end, that's the last thing we say before we excuse the kids off the field is, we address the COVID situation, and we talk to them about wearing their mask in school, washing their hands after every class, just trying to, and I think they get it because, our kids are kind of focused on one thing, and so hopefully they're doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Hey, Coach, best of luck to you on Friday night against Norwalk St. Paul, and hopefully we'll see you guys in the regional semifinals.
Let's hope. Thank you very much.
You got it.
Bye-bye.
Dom Perlogo, the head football coach of the Warren JFK Eagles, on a Thursday edition of Running Points on YSNLive.com. 330-886-0813, the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline, open for business. Except the top of the hour, Paul Julia from Leetonia will be checking in. Bears are healthy, and they're going to need to be. The McDonald Blue Devils, this is going to be an interesting game, to say the least, down in Beartown, as the Bears and McDonald Blue Devils get together for a regional semifinal game down in Leetonia. That will be Friday night in Leetonia, Division 7, Region 25. We made mention one game that has been postponed. I was looking through the regions and how many teams have been given a berth into the regional semifinals, D2 through D7, into the regional finals, D1. And as of yesterday, there was only one team that was given that opportunity thanks to a COVID outbreak. We're going to go through the list as we take a time out and go through the list again, see how many teams and how many games other than the one game have been canceled this weekend due to a COVID outbreak in the particular school. So we'll take a time out, be back with more. It is a Thursday edition of Running Point on YSNLive.com.
Hello, I'm Greg Burbick with G. Burbick Farms. For the last 100 years, my family has farmed in Columbiana and Mahoning counties. I began raising cattle in 1996 with the goal of providing a better product for you and your family on the dinner table. Our grass-fed and grain-supplemented Black Angus beef are raised with no hormones, steroids, or antibiotics. We're known for our hometown-friendly service and incredible tasting products. We're locally owned and have customers across the tri-state area. Our products go from our farm to your family. Stop by our farm on New Buffalo Road or visit us on the web at gburbickfarms.com. Don't forget to like us on Facebook. G. Burbick Farms, it just tastes better.
trusted our families to help you with your Medicare needs.
Myers Family Insurance looks forward to helping you now for years to come. So call our family today and remind them how cute we are.
Myers Family Insurance continues to be the area's resource for all your Medicare and retirement needs. Call today, 330-286-3044.
It's storm season.
I think we're under the gun for some heavy storms over the next couple of hours.
And Storm Tracker 21 is ready.
This is probably the one we're keeping a closer eye on.
On air
And locally, we're going to have a lot of eyes on our area.
Online,
All right, let's talk high-risk futurecast and the timing of this weather.
on social media, and on our app.
Rain will come and go tomorrow. There'll be some dry intervals.
Stay ready with Storm Tracker 21.
The severe weather threat now through around sunset this evening.
Hi, I'm Colin Chupa. And I'm Kelsey Clem from K-Squared Marketing. Our boutique marketing firm specializes in media planning and buying, public relations, event marketing strategies, and strategic sponsorships. We can integrate our services with your existing game plan, or we can be your entire marketing team. Your goals, our game plan. Let's win together. Call K-Squared Marketing at 330-623-2730 or visit ksquared.marketing to learn more.
Hi everyone, this is DJ Yoakley with Your Sports Network. We appreciate your support of YSN and welcome you to the YSN family. Our broadcast streams are brought to you live at no cost to you by sponsors that are local to this community. Without the vision and generosity of our sponsors and partners, we would not be able to bring this game to you today. So please support the great businesses and leaders that are making this game possible. And if you're a business in need of great advertising and sponsorship opportunities, feel free to head over to our site for more information on the right fit for you. We are local, we are loyal, and we are live. We are YSN.
Ah, the details. Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods is one fine ride. Perfect cornering, superb handling, sporty and stylish, power to spare, plus awesome mileage. Yeah, jaw-droppingly beautiful lines and well appointed with luxurious trim. Put more oomph in your life and start beholding the molding. Find your home's fine hardwood at BairdBrothers.com.
No matter what the weather, be prepared with a reliable, efficient Rude gas furnace or air conditioner from MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. Call your energy-efficient expert, MP Vivo, today for a free estimate.
Here at MP Vivo, we rely on Rude, and so should you.
Welcome back to a Thursday edition of Running Point on YSNLive.com. Ron Potesta with you. MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning hotline open for business, 330-886-0813. That's 330-886-0813. Made mention in the field of 8, the quarterfinal matchups across the state of Ohio in D2 through D7. D1 is in the regional semifinals, so they're 1 week ahead. Their championship game will be played 1 week earlier than the championship games in divisions 2 through 7. There is one game as of right now in the state of Ohio that has already been postponed due to a COVID outbreak, and that is in Division 5, Region 18, where number 5 Pemberville Eastwood is, and that's a familiar name, and it should be a familiar name. A couple of years ago, I want to say 3 years ago, this was the team that beat South Range in the state semifinals. Yeah, this was the team that beat South Range a few years back in the state semifinals. They get a berth into the semifinals thanks to their no contest game against number 13 Oak Harbor, the 13 seed, who, by the way, got in courtesy of a no contest the week before. They had a COVID outbreak earlier this week, and because of that, Pemberville Eastwood has moved into the D5 Region 18 semifinals. So that is the only game that has been ruled a no contest, which is code for game isn't played. The team that was healthy, Pemberville Eastwood, the 5 seed, they will move into the Division 5 regional semifinals next week as they get a no contest against number 13 Oak Harbor. So congratulations, I guess, to Pemberville Eastwood as they go into the regional semifinals. They'll have a bye this week, courtesy of the no contest in their outcome against number 13 Oak Harbor. I had some volleyball tournaments from yesterday, D2 through D4. Geneva, straight set winner over Niles. Girard took 4 sets. They upended Poland 3-1. Ursuline straight set winner over Waterloo in the D3 tournaments. Crestwood straight sets over Champion 3-zip. Cardinal Mooney upset LeBray. It tends to be a habit with Mooney. Year after year, they wind up getting at least one upset in the postseason, and here's your upset. Mooney moves on. LeBray goes home. Mooney straight set winner over the Vikings, and Garrettsville-Garfield a straight set win over Grand Valley in the D3 playoffs. D4, actually it's tournament. D4 tournament, Newton Falls, straight set winner over Bloomfield. Brookfield took 4 sets to beat Lordstown 3-1. Maplewood, straight set winner over Bristol, and Columbiana with a straight set victory over Leetonia. Division I volleyball tonight, 6 o'clock start. Fitch will be hosting Stowe Monroe Falls. Boardman will visit Ashtabula Lakeside. Division II tournaments. Southeast goes to Lakeview. Salem is at Mentor Lake Catholic. And Kenston will travel to Beloit to take on West Branch. Division III, Liberty is at Cardinal. United will go to South Range. Andrews Osborne, which is a school in the suburbs, a private school in the suburbs of Cleveland, they'll travel down to take on Crestview. And Pie Valley will host Lake Center Christian. And in Division IV, and again, all of these games starting at 6 o'clock, Springfield is at Wellsville, Jackson Milton at Heartland Christian. And again, Heartland Christian plays their games at the old Columbiana High School, which is in downtown Columbiana just off the main street where the iconic square is in Columbiana. It's just, what would that be, south of the square. Heartland Christian home to Jackson Milton. Lowellville is at Mineral Ridge, and McDonald will travel up to Ashtabula County to take on Ashtabula St. John. Boys soccer Division I, we had Fitch a winner over Mayfield 1-0. Harding beat Cuyahoga Falls 1-0. And Boardman blew out Akron North 7-1. Congratulations, all three of our D1 schools victorious. Congratulations to them. Girls soccer today, Division I, Fitch is at Madison, Howland is at Hudson, and Boardman is at Nordonia. All of those games will start at 6 o'clock. All these games, except for one, will start at 6. We'll get to the one game that starts at 6:30 when we go to Division III. D2, Hubbard is at Canfield, Mooney's at Salem. Notre Dame Cathedral Latin will travel to Beloit to take on West Branch. Kenston is at Lakeview, Niles at Geneva, Poland at Field. Division III, Conneaut is at Springfield, Crestview at United, Lordstown at Rootstown. Leetonia goes to Burton to take on Burton Berkshire. Waterloo is at South Range, Badger at Garfield, LeBray at Champion, and the Grand Valley match against Ursuline down at Farmers National Bank Field on the campus of Youngstown State University. That game will take place at 6:30 tonight. 6:30 tonight, undoubtedly under the lights at Farmers National Bank Field on the campus of Youngstown State University. We'll take a timeout. Paul Julia from the Leetonia Bears coming up next. It is a Thursday edition of Running Point on ysnlive.com.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions, reminding you that it is open enrollment for Medicare.
Now through December 7th, those who qualify can visit our local independent agency by calling us at 330-953-3722 or visiting us at wrsinsurancesolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
Attention all football fans. If you can't see your team play, come and dine with us and watch it live at Boardman, Canfield, or Cortland. Or staying at home, we'll deliver right to your door. That's Coca's Pizza. We serve it hot.
2020 will be a season like we've never seen before. But 21 Sports and YSN will be there for every key moment. The plays, the players, and the stories that will headline this season. Delivered by 21 Sports and YSN.
Planning a project around your home or rental property? Trust the electrical service to the local experts with 62 years of serving the Mahoning Valley. Joe Dickey Electric is your local go-to source for responsive, reliable residential electrical work. From everyday maintenance and repairs to new installations, electrical upgrades, and safety inspections, no job is too big or too small. Call Joe Dickey Electric today, 800-549-3976, or visit DickeyElectric.com. That's DickeyElectric.com.
Myers Family Insurance knows the importance of a great team.
Our team continues to grow to help you with your Medicare and retirement needs.
The annual election period is here, so it's all hands on deck to make sure your plan still meets your needs for 2020.
Call us today.
You may find yourself in some difficulty this winter. Don't get whacked by high heating bills. Call Michael at MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. Michael is a trusted friend who will be able to help you with many things, like getting a 95% high-efficiency furnace this winter from Rude. Michael relies on Rude, so should you. Call MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning for a free estimate, 330-259-0486, and take care of your heating and air situation.
Welcome back to a Thursday edition of Running Point on ysnlive.com. Ron Potesta with you. Beautiful Thursday as we are one day away from the third round of the high school playoffs, and this would be, since 1999, week one. It would normally be week one of the high school football playoffs because you're down to the 8 teams, which since 1999, in a normal year, we would have 8 teams in each region go into the postseason. Well, this year has been anything but normal, as we will have a third-round matchup of the Ohio High School Athletic Association playoffs. And for a second consecutive week, Leetonia will be hosting a playoff game. This will be the second time in school history. Last week, Bears get a victory in their first and only home football game in the postseason as they knocked off Buckeye Central 32-16. And to talk about that game and to set up the quarterfinal game against McDonald in an all-local matchup, we bring in the head football coach of the Leetonia Bears, Paul Julia. Coach, how are you today?
Oh, doing well. Like you said, Ronnie, I mean, what a beautiful day we have here in northeastern Ohio.
Yeah,
the weather is absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, it absolutely is. I mean, I feel like we should be golfing instead of talking about football. But the leaves remind us that it is fall. It's beautiful to look at as the leaves start to fall. And when the leaves start to fall, that means Leetonia's ready to play postseason football. And sure enough, here you guys are. And first time in school history, you get a home game in the postseason. In a strange year that has been COVID, you guys probably looked as good as I have seen you all year long in terms of being balanced in the victory over Buckeye Central. Not only did Marco Ferry deliver the goods, you had a lot of guys delivering the goods that night.
Yeah, we've got great efforts from all our guys on both sides of the ball. McCool and Dirk had great nights running the ball. Jaden got hot catching it. Dylan did a great job delivering the ball to him. And, we gave him a few different, formations that they hadn't seen. We popped a couple plays off of that. And it was great to see, that we were able to really be a little bit more complete. And, hopefully that will help us moving forward.
As we do move forward and the further along the Bears go, the more everyone's going to realize, all right, Marco Ferry is a large part of this offense. How important is it for Dylan Lennon, the quarterback, and the offensive line to protect him when he's throwing the ball, and the guys that are looking to catch passes from Dylan Lennon? How important is it to get that to get that effort from the guys other than 28?
Well, once going forward in the playoffs, that the teams you play aren't going to get worse; they're going to get better every week. And so you've got to be able to do some different things, and you've got to be more diverse. And and hopefully, we can build on our success that we had last week and do a better job this week with it.
I know that you guys defensively, you've been bringing it all year long. I mean, you had a hiccup against United, but it was one of those nights. Other than that, you guys have brought it all year long, and I'm just really impressed with a couple of underclassmen. Timmy Johnson and Hayden Sebula have both put forth gigantic efforts, and given the fact that Johnson is a sophomore, Sebula is just a freshman, you've got some building blocks with your underclassmen, where this is not just going to be a one-year production and then we're back to what has been normal Latonia football after a gigantic season this year. No, I think you guys have some building blocks for tremendous success down the road.
Well, we'd like to think so. We've got some nice underclassmen. You mentioned Hayden and Timmy. We got Mikey Miller back defensively too, who's a great one. Those are good positive things. And Joey Guido's had a great season at corner there too. So I mean, we're excited. Jake McCool too. He's a junior as well. So so we're excited about those guys coming back, and we want them to have great off seasons and do an outstanding job of leading this football team.
You're going to be taking on a McDonald team, and I made mention of this on Monday. It seems to me it's kind of the same, but maybe a little different, as Dominic Shadle is the go-to guy with McDonald. He's a talented quarterback. He runs the ball more than he throws it, but he's certainly a dual threat, and it's going to be up to McDonald, much like Latonia. It's the guys that are the role players are going to have to step up and be important in their roles, because you know what you're going to get with Marco Ferri and Dominic Shadle. These two kids are unbelievable. Whoever steps up in the role player battle, that'll probably determine the winner of this game. Am I on the right track on that, Coach?
Oh yeah, I mean, a lot of times in big games, complementary players are the ones that wind up having the bigger plays. Because McDonald has a really good defense, and we've got a good defense too. So obviously, what our defense is geared to do is to stop 5, and I'm sure their defense is going to be to stop 28. When we have the ball. So a lot of times it becomes those complementary players become very, very important.
What did you see on McDonald when looking at film of the Devils this year? What have you seen on film that impresses you about this team?
Well, it's two things. I mean, their offense and defensive lines are very good, very well coached. They play really hard. Typical McDonald kids. They're 6 foot, 250, strong, thick in the hips. And they really get after it, and number 5, their quarterback, who pretty much playing tailback, for the most part, is an outstanding athlete. I mean, we've gone against some really good ones this year, and he's definitely in the top of that group. So and their special teams are really sound as well. They have a good kicker, and they punt it well also.
Are there some new wrinkles that, I mean, without really going completely off the board, are there things that you can do a little bit differently in the same formation that can possibly benefit you guys, whether it be offensively or defensively? Run a couple of wrinkles in some of the things that you guys have done formation-wise that I'm sure McDonald has seen on film.
Well, we always got, it's one part of coaching. You always got a plan A, but the key to success is having a plan B, C, D, E, and F. So we have those other plans. We have those other options. But we would hope that our plan A is also, works out, well for us also. So, it's just a reality of football. Any level you play at, you've got to be willing and ready to adjust.
The adjustment factor, and I mean, this is one of the reasons why this game is going to be so fascinating. I got to believe this is going to be the battle of adjustments. And I know that your staff and Dan Williams' staff, you're going to be doing adjusting on the fly all game long, depending on how well the top shelf players are playing. With Marco Ferri for you guys and Dominic Shadle for McDonald, and then frankly how much the role players are getting involved. Are the McDonald Blue Devils going to suddenly now spread the ball around and get everyone involved? Are you guys going to be getting everyone involved? I mean, there's potential for adjustments out the wazoo in this game, which I think is yet another reason why I think this could be just a great coaching clinic type of game.
Well, I don't know about clinics is the right word, but I mean there's going to be a lot of they're going to make they have a great Coach Williams, his staff, they do a great job. They're a very, very well coached football team. And and we think we're a well-coached team as well. So we're going to have to have our thinking caps on, and I'm sure they will. And hopefully we put them in some situations where they've got to move to Plan B, C, D, or E. So and we'll just have to see what happens. I mean, the advantage they have, as far as a club and a unit, is that they're used to playoff experiences where our kids aren't. So we'll just have to, we'll see how our kids react to that.
That's a point that you bring up. Clearly, McDonald has a lot more experience in terms of being in the postseason in the last few years, and but the fact that you guys you got your first postseason game under your belt, does it really have that big of a difference now that you guys have already played a postseason game, or is there some credence to that the further along you go? Because, I mean, let's be honest, this is going to be a first. For this particular group, this will be a first. Nobody's gone to the regional semifinals in quite a few years. If you beat McDonald, well, nobody's gone to the regional semifinals in quite a few years, 16 to be exact. So is there credence to that, Coach?
Yeah, I think it means something. I mean, and an advantage we have is that we are playing at home. So we should be in an atmosphere that we feel comfortable in. We're not going to a new stadium, a place that these kids have never been at before. So we'll just have to see. And playoff games are always funny animals. I mean, they really are. I mean, you really don't know what's going to happen. I mean, you got an idea, but unlike for us playing McDonald's, I mean, we don't know, our kids don't know anything about them. It's not like if we're playing, Lisbon. I mean, our kids know all their kids, and their kids know ours personally. They've been playing against each other since 7th grade. So there's some background there, but here there isn't any. It's just Latonia versus McDonald, and we're on both sides. Hopefully, we figure it out a little bit better than they do.
I know I can only think of one year when Latonia played McDonald, and that would have been the last game of the 78 season. Latonia won their 5th game of the season. They beat McDonald convincingly in that game, and I think Tony Coleman got his 1,000 yards in that particular game, and I was a freshman in high school, so you were going back a ways, Coach. You guys might have played McDonald while I was out of town for the 12, whatever the hell, how many years I was out of the area. But the only game that I can remember these two teams playing was Latonia beating McDonald in the 78 season.
Yeah, well, they had played them in the when the old ITCL thing was together.
Gotcha.
I wasn't in Columbiana County at that time, so I really don't even know how all that shook, to tell you the truth. But they have played them on a few occasions. But I know they haven't played them the last 4 years because they haven't been in this new league, the EOAC that we're in now. So we're just going to have to see what happens. I'm excited about it because I like playoff football. I really do. I enjoy it. I enjoy coaching in playoff games, and I enjoy playing teams that you don't know much about. So we're just going to have to see what happens. But I'm excited. I'm sure the kids are going to be too.
Talk about the home field advantage, and obviously, given the fact that you're not allowed to have as many people in the stands as you want to have, that kind of takes away from the home field advantage, but the familiarity is there. The band will play the fight song. The bell tower is waiting to be rung after the game, and it just the familiarity of going through the tunnel that you guys have. It's there is something special about that place.
Yeah, I think our kids are going to be. I think they're going to be jazzed up. Hopefully we'll feel comfortable with our surroundings, and we'll be able to, do something well. I mean, I tell you, our support has been phenomenal with this group. I mean, really, it's been good to see. I mean, the support of the community and everything else has really been great. I mean, and it's been fun to be part of, to see the community really rally around these kids.
I talked with Coach of seeding the top 8 teams, 7 out of 8. It doesn't get much better than that, Coach.
Yeah, I think when I saw the seeds,